Okay, thank you very much, my dear audience. Now I have a very honorable guest, Mr. Leonid Vladimirovich. How are you, Mr.?
Yes, Leonid Vladimirovich.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Leonid Savin is a member of Military Scientific Society of Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation and a member of steering committee of the Islamabad International Counter-Terrorism Forum. He is the author of a number of books, scientific publication, and special studies on the topic of international relation, politics, philosophy, geopolitics, and international conflict. It's very wonderful, Mr. Leonid. I directly to ask you first question. You live in a former superpower, Soviet Union, now the Russian Federation. What are the most significant changes, especially in the Putin era? Please.
First of all, thank you for invitation to discussion, and also because it's kind of talk show for your audience. I think it's very important and to present our point of view, because during this period we see some kind of very negative propaganda against Russia. But answering your questions, I would like to say that I remember times of Soviet Union because I was born in 1974. I remember last days of this superpower during the period of Mikhail Gorbachev, when the country was collapsed. First years of independence of Russia, neighboring countries, and it was very bad times for all society because economy was collapsed and there was very strong influence of Western powers, Western corporation, and Western surrogate culture at all, especially in cinema. There was a very big poverty in Russia and other countries. And when Putin came to power, first time he was prime minister under Yeltsin presidency in 1999. So he started to reorganize country, to restore order, to stop destruction of the Russia, because at this time we have kind of a militant separatism in region of North Caucasus. Then he started to process of rebuilding Russian economic system, and especially because of, as I told, very strong influence of Western powers and local oligarchs like Mikhail Khodorkovsky, for example, very good example, that he connected with some Western structures and tried to influence on Russia itself, on Russian political system. Putin stopped this process, and then country become reorganized in a good way, and new jobs place and new economic sectors. He restored our military power. He provided social support, and now we see that we going on full speed to our real sovereignty. And it's very important, and because also conflict, not only in Ukraine, but over the globe, and attempts of the Western powers still to keep our hegemony over the globe.
Okay, Mr. Leonid, now we are talking a bipolar world, yeah? During the Second World War, the Soviet Union became an ally of the USA. Then bipolar emerged. Now it is a multipolar. How far has the West betrayed the Russian Federation?
Actually, the story is more long. We can to remember Japan-Russian war in '94 when the United States supported Japan military sector. And we can remember that in 1911, US-Russian Treaty of Navigation of Commerce was denounced by American side. And then, after great social revolution, 1917, United States also organized intervention in Russian Far East. Then America not recognized Soviet Union for many years, till Great Depression. Why? Because they were jealous about Soviet democracy system. Only in Soviet Union, all people to get rights, labor rights, voting rights, etc. Not in United States, but the United States presented itself like the most important democracy in the world. But still there was no voting rights for women. Still there was apartheid. And I think until now there is some kind of soft apartheid in the United States, and etc. Then after Fulton's speech of Churchill in 1946, there was proclaimed Iron Curtain against Soviet Union, and Anglo-Saxon powers united against Soviet Union, United States and UK, and because of geopolitical reason, I think, because it was sea powers and Soviet Union was heartland of Eurasia. It was a land power, and so they tried to start strategy of engagement of our country, different countries to our political system, capitalistic system, and it was a bipolar world order. And now when Russia very clear claim about our national interest after war in Georgia in 2008, United States just promoted our idea of soft liberalism and not recognize Russian national interest in neighbor countries. We respect interest of United States in any area, and they organized a coup in Ukraine in 2014, and then start use Ukraine against Russia. And so it's like a proxy war. So it's not first time that United States betrayed Russia and they not respect our interest. And of course, we have historical memory about situation when the West for centuries always tried to destroy Russia. Napoleon War, Hitler War, and now North Atlantic Treaty Organization war against Russia through Ukraine.
Okay, next question, Mr. What are the fundamental variables that make you confident that US, NATO, Western Europe will soon collapse? What do you think?
I think we not cannot do prognosis when exactly they will collapse, but the significant some elements that from war from Afghanistan, for example, how U.S. forces was withdrawn after 20 years of the presence, in war of Ukraine against Russia, because it's not only Ukraine and Russia. There is a very big military industrial complex of all countries of NATO system. Then we see that economic situation in the countries of European Union is very bad. There's recession, industry sectors collapsed. Of course, there's some problem of political ideology because transatlanticism not work anymore. We see the rise of political populism in many European countries and also in the United States. Donald Trump is a good example. Then we have very big debt, global debt of United States. And we see that for next 10 or maybe 20 years, if situation will be not changed, it will be totally collapsed. And I think it's very dangerous. And Russia, China, India now have bilateral trades in national currency. It's also a very important process. We start de-dollarization of global economy. It process is slow, not so big, but it's going on. And biggest partners of Russia, like India, China, Iran, and some other countries, they started go out from dollar dependency. And I think many countries will follow this example also because arrest of Russian actives in European Union and in the United States. And because everybody sees that any country will be next because of pressure of United States. So it's different parallel processes, but it's very important that the West is not leader anymore of the globe. in economic and political sense.
Okay, now we come to your book. In the book of Ordo Pluriversalis, the end of Pec Americana and the race of multipolarity, you write, the rise of China and the scenario of the collapse of Western hegemony. What possibilities for international relation government can we offer, according to you?
Actually, Russia and China signed treaty on multipolarity and new political systems in 1997. So many years passed, and still we not achieved this newest world order. But China has own theory of international relations. Russia not. Russia now promoting this idea of new theory of international relations, like Eurasian studies, etc. And of course, we're interested that many actors in the globe will promote our theory of international relations. So we can to discuss it, to see what is good, what is bad, what can be useful for real international relations between African countries, Asian countries, Latin America. I think it's a process of discussion. It's very important to do some checkpoints, some marks about what will be next, how we will connect in future. Because we see the fall of neoliberal world orders, and anyway we need to find new solutions for our relations between all countries, between all actors, between all ethnic groups over the globe.
Okay, still in your book, Mr. Ordo Pluriversalis, the end of Pax Americana and the race of multipolarity, please explain revision and alternative to the basic statehood, such as religion, economic worldview, sovereignty, civilization, liberalism, and globalism. Please.
The main problem is Western liberalism pretended to be monopoly, where the United States is a kind of a center for the world. And they try to disappear these ideas to any corner of the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America. Only one idea was kind of parliament system, political parliament system, idea of liberal trade. But in fact, it's kind of hypocrisy, because United States prevent to do real liberal relations between countries. If Russia would like to sell some kind of weapon system to, for example, South Korea or to Australia, United States just to block this deal, because they see kind of danger for our interest. And so, in fact, there is no liberal order, there kind of heresy of liberalism in international relations. So there should be alternative system. If we see on any country, Indonesia, Russia, Iran, and some African countries, we see that communities organized in different way. And we can to use parliament system, we can use presidency, for example, prime minister post, etc. But in our understanding, in a deep sense, we see a different approach. Islamic Republic of Iran, they have supreme leader. They have another political system. They have idea of Vilayat-e-Fatih. They have another type of constitution than in United States. And we can go to India. India have similar constitution to United States, but still the caste system, still there are many language used in India. There another thinking way. There another understanding of time, of death, of future, etc. They have another understanding of state itself, a kind of mandala state, idea of Bharat or Greater India. Of course, there's some interest of neighboring countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. The same for any country. Religious approach, for example, in Russia, we have majority of the Orthodox Christian. In Indonesia, there is Islam. But in Russia and also in Indonesia, we have more old traditions that also still affect on society itself. So why is important? Remember about everything that we use: religion, and history, customs, traditions. When we use an economic system, for example, and contemporary economic system, liberal system, of course, based on usury, and Islam and Orthodox Christianity reject usury systems. So we need to develop new approach, how to interact, to organize trade, commerce, etc. And in my book, I propose this approach not to cut all these ideas, but keep it in mind when we develop new strategies for international relations and when we develop new political ideologies.
Okay, Mr. Leonid, last question. I see that from perspective of Russia now, very confident talking about multipolarity. In your opinion, the multipolarity, what is kind of discourse, ideology, or worldview?
For worldview, it's not enough, because when we see that some political leaders or experts talks about multipolarity, it's not enough, because people on street should to understand this idea. Even in think tank community, we see not understanding, real understanding what is multipolarity, because many also in Russia just to use copy paste from American science, and it's not good. I think we should to find our solution, our way, and we can to use our tradition to understand that what is multipolarity. And I do a quotation of Martin Heidegger, German philosopher, who told that pole is maybe used is not geographical sense like American political scientists do, and they promote idea of bipolarity, multipolarity, cluster polarity, nuclear polarity, etc. But idea of philosophical concept of pole, that pole is a kind of place when being of one people, of ethnic group just developing, flourishing, and they is pole. So they should be many poles, and multipolarity, it's not about that one country and should be like a pole. It's a more complex approach, say maybe pole of some ethnic groups or civilizational pole. And in China, we have many ethnic groups, but China is kind of a unique civilization, like Russia, for example. They interconnected with idea of great spaces or big spaces of German geopolitician Karl Haushofer, when many states or countries united in some blocks. And this idea may be useful too for developing this idea. The idea in general that it's not universe like under a liberal order, but pluriverse, that we can to use many difficult ideas that should be peaceful coexistence, like promoted by some Asian powers many years before in India, in China, also idea of Panchasila promoted by President Sukarno of Indonesia, and idea of flourishing complexity proposed by Russian philosopher Konstantin Leontiev. So in reality, there are many good ideas that may be connected. And at the moment, of course, it's on kind of theoretical basis, but connected a little bit with political practice that we see now on activity of Russia, China, Iran, India, and some Latin American countries. And together, it's a new kind of axis that oppose of global Western hegemony and neoliberal order.
Okay, last but not least, maybe you have time. I'm reading from Mr. Dukin's book that he said multipolarity again, three ideology: fascism, liberalism, and communism. What do you think?
This is the idea of new fourth political theory that Mr. Dukin proposes, because historically first was liberalism, then reaction on then communism, and reaction it was fascism. And now we have not seen ideas of communists on global state. I mean, like superpower, like Soviet Union, but still some countries follow these ideas of Marxism, like Venezuela or Cuba, for example. Of course, there is no any fascist state or neo-Nazist, but we still see some attempts to reorganize some countries in such way, like in Ukraine. And liberalism, the most oldest idea that have roots from modernity itself. It's, I think, the most stable till now. And Alexander Dugin proposed idea of, again, idea of German philosopher Martin Heidegger, idea of design of the people, like basis for forced political theory. But I think that this his theory is still open idea. It still may be reorganized. There should be some proposals from different sides. There are many followers of this forced political theory in different countries in Africa, in Latin America, and now in some Asian countries there's followers. But we can try to develop also new theories, theories like political aesthetics, for example. If we read idea of good, what I different kind of ideas based on our very deep traditions. And I think it's very useful and complementary itself.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Leonid. Very satisfied, and I hope we can discuss another issue in another time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you too for opportunity.
Thank you.